Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the release of the first quarter of 2014 GDP. Today we have the Statistician General of South Africa here to give us the figures. So I'll hand you over to the Statistician General.
We'll be looking at policy perspectives. What are the policy perspectives? What are the growth rates? What different industries contribute? What are the reasons for growth? We know that there are sectors, mining, primary, secondary, tertiary, mining as primary, agriculture and so on. We know that nominal growth and contributions, what does it mean to be nominal and what are the contributions? And of course we want to compare this with some employment numbers. And then we make some real historical comparisons. The policy environment, GDP, informs the monetary and fiscal policy setting of rates. And we know that the 2014 growth estimates were revised downwards from 2.5 to 3%, which was what was expected, to 2 to minus 2.5. We are today releasing the first preliminary estimates of economic performance, and the first quarter GDP is quarter on quarter. We have grown by a negative 0.6%, and year on year, that is 1.6%. That is first quarter 2013 to first quarter 2014, 1.6, but the first quarter year on year is negative. And we can see that the historical trends quarter on quarter, and we can see that we have actually moved into negative terrain for the first time in this first quarter 2014. And year on year 1.6, which is the blue line. What are the industry growths and what has actually led to the growth? What has led to the growth? You can see that manufacturing quarter on quarter minus 0.4, mining double digit minus 0.24.7%, and the other sectors, financial services, trade, transport, general government, have grown quarter on quarter positively, including year on year, as well as manufacturing year on year has grown 2.4% positive. But mining has been negative both year on year and quarter on quarter. Well, we know that production at the mining industry has actually been slow or low, because of there's been a strike that has been going on there for a number of months now, and this is the 4th or 5th month of the strike. And this mine is in gold, in the metal ores, platinum mainly, and of course manufacturing industry was mainly due to lower production as well. And here we see petroleum, chemical products, rubber and plastic products actually contributing to this lower production, as well as basic iron and steel. What has been the contribution of these sectors, be they negative or positive? What has been the contribution by each one of them to industry? Agriculture has provided zero contribution to industry, although it grew by 2.5%. Mining negative 1.3, manufacturing minus 0.7, and you can see the relative contributions of this to the growth or the negative growth that we have witnessed quarter on quarter. And you can see that over a period of time, what value add has been in the first quarter of 2014. And we have had a dip in the first quarter of 2011 to quarter 2012 for primary industries, and this dip has become even deeper in the first quarter of 2014, if you follow that blue line. And of course the brown line, which is secondary industries, which includes mining, manufacturing, you can see that in the first quarter of 2013 we actually went into a dip, as well as in the first quarter of 2014 we went into a dip. But tertiary industries have been above the negative terrain over this period from first quarter 2010 to first quarter 2014. What are the growth rates by sector? primary sectors, minus 17.2, pulled agriculture, forestry, fishing, and mining, pulled by mining largely, which has gone by negative 24%. Secondary sector, negative 2.7 overall. Manufacturing actually dragging the sector with electricity contributing 0.1 and construction 4.9. Quarter on quarter, if you look at tertiary sector, there 1.8, and all those sectors have contributed 2.1, 1.7, 2.0, government 1.7, and personal services 1%. The relative contribution, the relative size of each industry in the GDP, we see personal services 6.0, agriculture 1.9, wholesale 16.9, manufacturing 11.8, and mining 8.7. Not unsizable, quite sizable, and when it grows by negative 24.7%, its impact is quite felt. Now, what the nominal GDP for the first quarter, it's 74 billion, and it's 2 billion less. And these are the contributions by different sectors. Minus 6 billion, minus 5.5 billion in manufacturing, trade 16 billion, 4 billion in transport, and 0.3 billion less or rather, these are the negative contributions by these sectors, and these are the positive contributions by such as agriculture, electricity, construction, and personal services. Now, the question of employment, we can track in terms of industrial classification, the one which is mining compensation. We can see that as represented by the blue lines, although mining has gone into negative terrain in terms of compensation, the number of people that have been employed have remained fairly stable. Of course, there is a strike, and when there is a strike, the people still remain on your books. The only thing that you do not do is to pay them. And in terms of quarterly labor force survey, we can see that those numbers are there, although there is a dip, a slight dip, but not to the extent of the dip in compensation, because people don't get paid when they are on strike. Well, employment and mining value add quarter on quarter, this is what we can see in terms of what this has contributed. And you can see the orange line dipping into the negative terrain in mining, and we can see employment, which is the quarterly labor force survey in mining, which has remained fairly flat and almost sitting at the zero zone in terms of change quarter on quarter. Now, the final slide, which is that the historical data, what have we learned out of this first quarter? Key is that we are negative terrain 24.7% for the first time since the second quarter of 1967, when mining contributed negative 31.9%. We didn't look at what the reasons were then in 1967, but we are almost where we were in 1967 in terms of mining contribution. And when we look at manufacturing, which is 6.3, a negative 4.4 compared to negative 6.6 in the third quarter of 2013, and 6.4 for fourth quarter 2013, which was minus 5.6. In terms of annualized rates, GDP, what we see in this first quarter of 2014, we can compare it with the second quarter of 2009. And then we actually went into a dip or a recession in South Africa. These are the kind of numbers that we have of GDP as we enter 2014. I'm sure I've said my say. Thank you very much.